The National Transportation Safety Board continues its investigation into what caused a fuselage panel or a plug to blow out during an Alaska Airlines flight on Friday. Now, while both United and Alaska Airlines found loose bolts on door plugs, is the latest news on some Boeing 737 Max-9 airplanes. And Phil LeBeau joins us now with more. And it's more sophisticated, I think, than we understand, Phil, but there are torque wrenches where you can tell whether things,
sure.
Right? Is it that simple, though? They're checking these bolts and
it's
they're loose?
It's not that simple. It's not that simple, but it's also not that complex. Look, loose hardware, loose bolts, whatever you want to say, where these plugs have been inspected by Alaska and United, any way you slice it, this is a bad look both for Boeing, its primary supplier, Spirit Aerosystems, and it really has to make you wonder whether or not the idea that some of these Max-9s that were grounded will be back in the air relatively soon. With that said, let me bring you up to speed in terms of what happened with the investigation last night, the updates we got from out in the Portland area. The NTSB is continuing to look at the pressurization problems surrounding the Alaska Airlines flight where the plug was ripped off at 16,000 feet. United, late yesterday afternoon, said it found loose bolts in some of the Max-9s that it has grounded, preparing for inspections that are being authorized by the FAA. Alaska last night essentially said the same thing, finding hardware in some of the planes as they prepare for the final inspections that would be needed before those planes enter service again. Alaska issuing a statement saying initial reports from our technicians indicate some loose hardware was visible on some aircraft. How much? How many aircrafts? We don't have those details yet, but I'm sure the FAA is watching and basically this is a big part of their investigation, exactly what's happening there. This is the door plug in question on the Alaska Airlines flight, the one that was ripped off Friday night. It's about 65 pounds. And essentially, it looks like what would be a door for a plane. But again, it was not a functioning door. The NTSB last night explaining exactly what they found when they started doing the close-up look at the hinges and the rails that guide that door into the plane. They've got a long ways to go. Meanwhile, Boeing will be holding a safety town hall meeting today. That will be led by CEO Dave Calhoun. Not sure what his message is going to be aside from we have to do much better than this, but they're taking this serious at Boeing. You're going to have Dave Calhoun at this meeting in Renton, Washington, where the MAX is built. Stan Deal, the head of Boeing Commercial Airplanes. Stephanie Pope, the COO, she'll be there as well. And finally, to take a look at shares of Alaska and United, the cancellations continue. Yesterday, the two airlines had a number of cancellations. Not all of these were Max-9 grounded planes, but there's a ripple effect there. Alaska, 154 flights. United, 237 flights. We'll see more cancellations today. Perhaps they're going to be getting closer to putting those Max-9s back in service, but they're waiting for the final inspection protocol approval. Yes, go ahead. The FAA has approved the protocol. Now it's a question of whether they tell the airlines, go ahead and do those inspections, and then you're good to go.
Just like, Phil, so we've tightened all the bolts on this plug. We've looked at it, we've tightened them all.
Sure.
Does that make the plane safe? Or is there something else? Does it beg the question, is there something loose somewhere else on such a sophisticated piece of machinery?
You're getting to the heart of the question that a lot of people are going to be asking now. Look, all airplanes, and depending on the type of aircraft, how many cycles or flights it goes through, they go through what's called a heavy maintenance, where they pull it off. There will be heavy maintenance companies. Sometimes it's the airlines themselves, depending on the cycle, and they will do a complete top to bottom on the aircraft. What's working, what needs to be updated, etc. And that is essentially what we have in place right now. The question you're asking, Joe, is, well, do we start ripping off the interiors and checking the fuselage of every single aircraft? I would find that hard to believe that the airlines, nor Boeing, nor Airbus would say that that is an effective thing to do. Having said that, I'm not sure anybody expected to find the loose hardware or to hear about the loose hardware at United and Alaska.
Yeah, I mean, hardware might not be the fuselage. And so what's our check marks for things that the Max was not ready for? So it started with software, right? Or something in the
Well, that
cockpit?
was a design issue. That was a design software issue.
Okay. But like I was saying, there's so many sophisticated...
You want me to run down the whole list of issues since it went into service?
There's been a few, and I'm just wondering if
yes, there have been a few. And that's at the heart of the problem. That's why Boeing shares have never gone back to where they were when they first introduced the Max in Dennis Muhlenberg's term. You know, they were go, go, go. They were cranking them out. And then you had the 2 accidents. Since then, they've never gotten back to that level.
Yeah, and I remember some of the other. I can't remember. You would remember better. Yeah,
Look, you're only going to 20. Joe, you're only going to 20 in this chart. Go back to 17. Go back to 17.
That's what I mean. Yeah, there were some other things. I remember there were things that I didn't even know what they were. Were they engine mounts or something? Or you remember we were saving more fuel, so the engine was in a different place or something? Was that a...
Well, that was part of the design issue. That was part of the design issue with the Max.
Okay.
In terms of, look, they didn't want to... And we're not going to relitigate all of that. That ultimately was hashed out following the 2 accidents, following a number of hearings, NTSB investigation. The FAA ultimately signed off on the changes that are in place right now.
It's probably a great plane. It's a state of the art, but then you know there's the old roaches under the kitchen sink. You see, there's one, and there's
that's what I was trying
about
to figure
5
out.
or 6
roaches. If you pulled
roaches.
every plane out of circulation and went back and looked at it, would you find loose bolts? That's, I mean...
I bet you probably would, Becky, and not all over the place, but look, these aircraft, they're going 17 to 20 hours a day. I mean, this is not something static that is not... I mean, it's in use, and the pressures and... everything that an aircraft goes through, I'm sure to a certain extent you will find some loose bolts in aircraft everywhere. It doesn't mean that they're not safe. No.
The other question I had is we have not heard any reports, Phil, of other planes, other Max airlines that had the malfunctioning or the pressurization light go off, right? We haven't heard of any.
To our knowledge, no. To our knowledge, no.